Michigan. Who is this? How a Spartan found his path and now shapes the Pistons brand. Dope for him. So look, this is Michigan State University. Their website not going crazy though. Usually when you go on the school website, it be like they be doing a whole bunch of stuff. They be looking all cool and all that. So Michigan State University, this is a very big school. My goodness. They have about 41 estimated, just rounding it out, actually. They have about 41,000 students. That's very large. They saying that it's a 4-year. Well, we know it's a 4-year. It's a public. And it's a university. It's saying that it's in the city. And it's a large. It's over 15,000 students. I hope they got a big I hope they got a huge academic advising team and financial aid. Woo. So they have a very good graduation rate. They have 82% compared to the 4-year midpoint, which is way above the 59%. And in fact, they're saying, look, hey, Michigan State University is below the 4-year midpoint, the 20,000. They're below that. And so they saying that, you always got to factor in after financial aid, grants and stuff. They're saying like, hey, you only gonna pay about $20,000 if you come here on aid. Is that true? Do we want to look at the sticker price? Because remember, 19 grand, the average annual cost, 20 grand a year, even with, financial aid, because they always factor in financial aid, 20 times 4, if you get out in 4 years, is $80,000 a year. And let me make sure. 20,000 times 4 is 80 grand. Yeah, 80 grand. And that's simply just off of the financial aid. We didn't even go look at the actual school price. So remember, when we go to the school, we want to go to the tab, we want to go to this bar, you want to type in tuition. Make sure I'm spelling that right. Tuition and fees. Y'all know me and my spelling. Be crazy. But I already just type in tuition and fees. Let me find the money. Show me the money. Okay. Let me see. Okay, this seems like this up our alley. Future, they got it featured on here. Like, we want you to find the prices. Okay. Student accounts. Let's see. I don't see no prices. Oh, there you go. Tuition rates by semester. So tuition rates by semester. We got undergrad, resident, non-resident, international, as we just talked about those 3 things in the Michigan news political outlet. So this is at the time, it's fall 2026. If you watch this a year later, you'll be like, that was 2026. My goodness, look how much the prices raised. So I don't want you going to this school if you are out of state. Non-resident means you're coming from an out of state. International, you're coming from another country. I'm assuming that you're in state and you're considering to go here. So I want to see their prices. So Michigan State University resident tuition, fee, and tax rates for fall semester 2025 and spring semester 2026. So right here, I don't know why they're doing freshman, sophomore. I guess it gets more expensive, slightly a little different, but they should have just kept it. So they're going to charge, they charging you $563 per credit hour on the max and $642 per credit hour. Guys, my 2-year, it was $100 per credit hour. Before I got there, it was $98 per credit hour. When I went to my university, I'm gonna say this: when I got to grad school, which is after I completed my 2-year degree, 4-year degree, when I got to grad school, I wasn't even paying $500. So I was paying about $200 and something per credit hour. Man, the things people pay for these days. But let's keep going. So on the high end, that's for core professional units that they are separated by College of Business. Then they separated by College of Engineering. But they're saying that, look, undergraduate lifelong education, I don't know if that's like general, but per credit hour could be $937 per credit hour. If you're in an accelerated nursing BSN program, $898. Online nursing, $742. Agriculture technology, $563. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think you should pay that much for accelerated nursing to be a nurse at Michigan State University. You can become a nurse at a 2-year college, then go to a university and become a nurse. A nurse is a nurse. It's not like nurses are it's not like a nurse is like, it's not like a nurse is how can I put it? It's not like they have a nurse of Wall Street or something, you know, like, and I don't think that matters sometimes. I think that sometimes they'll pick people from certain background, like certain schools and stuff, if they demonstrate they can do something exceptionally. I don't know, but paying that much to become a nurse, $898 per credit hour, is crazy. That's crazy. Off real, especially when I know you can get your associate's degree in being a nurse. That's all I'm saying. So y'all not even gonna tell us the total, so we gotta calculate it ourselves. So they're saying, look, on the 12, if you excuse me, y'all just burp. I'm gonna just calculate it myself to be, because they didn't really specify if that's for the year or not, but that's got to be for one semester. So I'm gonna do 563. I'm gonna just do 564. I'll just round it. 564 per credit hour. Remember, you just gotta do it times 12. That's how much you're looking at. Yeah, so that's about 14 grand. That's about 14 grand. And then they're saying 8 grand, pretty much. So you're looking at about, what's 8,500? 8,500 times 2 is $17,000 per semester. Not too far off from this. That's why I said this right here throws me off, because I don't know if they include like the housing and the meal plans, but simply like right here, if you just simply do that, it's not too far off from that though. The sticker price actually looks a little better than this, you know. But we can't help but notice the earnings. The earnings is like, hey, you come here, you're going to get a great job. They're like, hey, you're going to make more than like within your 4 years. They changed. They said within 4 years. They said who received federal aid 4 years after graduating from the college. You making about this much. That's what they say. That's what they say. What fields of study? Since they got it on here, fields of study. Look, most people go get biology, bachelor's degrees. They get psychology. I think biology was one of the worst degrees according to CNBC, but don't quote me on that. Do not quote me on that. You got psychology, business administration. These are all, no offense, unless they just got special connections with companies, these are very general degrees. These are not like spectacular different degrees, guys. But remember, we just talked about computer and information sciences. We just talked about computer sciences, y'all. We just talked about computer sciences on our yesterday live stream. But it seems like these are their top majors, the people that graduate the most. Like and subscribe. We're going to get to the cost. We already talked about the cost. Then look, this is what it looks like if you are, you know, by family income, how much you're looking at annually to go to the school. Remember, you got to factor in if you get a meal plan in the dorms. I advise you not to get that. It's saying it's about 7 grand for the year. That's based on income. But they say 91% of their students return after their first year. That's really good. They say, look, graduation rate is 82%. Like we already said, these are very good. Like they graduate their students most of the time. They barely transfer. They barely withdraw. And so they got some good numbers. They got nothing but A's and B's. We talked about the earnings. This is how much you're going to make more than a high school graduate. That's what they're saying. And consider, like, if you stay in Michigan, this is how much you're going to make more than a person in Michigan who just got a high school diploma. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. I don't know. You know, I do keep my own realistic view, because sometimes I'm like, how y'all get this data together? And y'all, you know, Trump administration just got on to y'all, but they could have done it that fast. But I don't know. Still keep that realistic approach, right? So then we go to campus diversity. Remember, with campus diversity, go see the campus for yourself. Go to Michigan. I don't think it's in Detroit. Where is this? Real quick. Where's this school at? It's in East Lansing, Michigan. I don't know what that is in Michigan. But go see the school for yourself. Go to the school for yourself. Go to the school for yourself and see. Go see. And then test scores and acceptance, as we said before, 85. They have an 85% acceptance rate. That is really high. That's not good. That's almost 100%. I say that's not good because maybe they know their prices are really expensive, but maybe they're just opening their door to a lot of students to come there. and make it accessible? I don't know. You know, that falls into the Michigan, like that falls into like Michigan's probably like values, principles. And so 85% though, that means they're like getting they're really letting a lot of students in. And then they said right here, Michigan State University considers admission test scores, SAT, ACT during the application process, but does not require them. So Michigan State, at this moment, at this time of this video, they do not require the SAT, ACT right now. But the prices are pretty crazy. So are they really producing return on investment, ROI? So Henry, what do you rate this school then? Because you know me, when I rate the school, I usually base it off of if I start at a 2-year. I base it on if I would start at a 2-year when I'm going like coming from my 2-year and transferring to a 4-year. I don't know what other schools are in Michigan. You know, I've never been to the Michigan area at all. When I hear Michigan, I think of Detroit. You know, it's other parts of Michigan, of course. But guys, I literally, when I went to my school undergraduate, because when I was an undergraduate, I literally looked at the sticker price. Even though I did have financial aid, you still have to base it off the sticker price because they're only going off the reason this is even here. This is here because of this. Like this. They're saying like, look, this is how much you're going to potentially pay based on your family income. So if you know your family income, that's just going to be based on how much aid you can get. Like if you qualify for Pell, like I always say, with Pell, you'll get like $7,000 per semester. It's like 7,000 something, but $7,000 per semester. That's going to be divided by 2. So you only get 3,500, right? So in all matrimony, your 3,500 could cover this $7,000 because they're saying like, hey, look, you come to us and you make $0 to $30,000 in family income, you only got to worry about paying $7,000 for the year. That's essentially what they're saying. It's an estimate, but then because that's $7,000 for the year, so it's gonna be $3,500 for you to attend the University of Michigan, but you have to factor in the meal plans and the dorms. The meal plan and dorms is what kills a lot of students who do get Pell in that secondary. Usually most states have a secondary, like how Georgia, as I always say, has the Hope Scholarship. So Michigan probably has something else that can cover, not fully, but cover your meal plans and dorms. It's not going to cover it fully. Nothing's ever going to cover that meal plan and dorms. And I can show you that real quick too. But real quick, it's like $17,000 if you don't get anything from my middle class people, if you fall in that area, like right here, because middle class is technically like here. So you still got to factor in like, hey, $17,000 plus the housing and meal plan. That's a lot of money, guys. Like, that's gonna be a lot of money. That's a lot of money for me, because I you know, like wherever money, like my Pell was like my scholarship based on my situation, and then you know, if you got some secondary money, that's really good. But really, money is money, and you want to make sure that, hey, I got enough purchasing power to purchase my way through school in case some government stuff is going to happen, like we just talked about with Matt Hall, right, in Michigan. Like now we just talked about with Michigan representatives, in case they do something like they finna do, because these prices are about to go up. By the time you see this again and you compare it to like fall 2026, 2027 school year, these prices are going to go higher, unless they pull it back and veto it or something. These prices are going to go higher. So I want to show you real quick. I rate this these prices are really high. I rate this a D. Honestly, yeah, I rated a D because the return on investment is allegedly good. Like, I guess it'll be worth it, I guess. I don't know really anybody, you know, like who went to Michigan State. I know athletes, but the Noble alumni is not sure. But I couldn't really purchase my way through here, especially if I'm working my job. You know, I got my 2-year degree, I'm working my job, and I'm trying to like really like, y'all know, I'm trying to really like pay my way through school in case something happens. But you have to you know, you want to be independent. So if something does happen, oh, I got my own money to pay. Right. So you want to go to a school where, like, shoot, you might can get some money back, hopefully. But that's a lot of money. But some people might want to take on that risk and still go to the school just by the name. So I want to go to the housing. I'm gonna give it a D though. That's a D because that's a lot of money.
We done. Debt-free degree. They sell brain debt, but we ain't.